Once upon a time, in a house that was always just a little bit too messy and a lot too loud, lived 3 children: Leo, Mia, and little Sam. Now, these weren't just any kids. They were champions of naughtiness, masters of mischief, and professional cookie jar raiders. Their parents often sighed and said, "It's like living in a whirlwind." One sunny afternoon, while building a pillow fort so epic it took over the entire living room, a tiny, shimmering light zipped past Leo's nose. It was smaller than a bumblebee and sparkled brighter than a disco ball. It zoomed around the room, leaving a trail of glitter before hovering right in front of them. It was a fairy, but not just any fairy. This was Flicker, a fairy from the Glimmerwood, and she looked rather flustered. Her tiny wings were buzzing with annoyance, and her face was scrunched up. "All right, you 3, she squeaked, her voice like tiny bells jangling. "I'm Flicker, and I've been sent to grant you one wish. But I've heard all about you. The missing socks, the crayon on the walls, the great cereal spill of last Tuesday. So this is your one chance to wish for something good." Leo, being the oldest, puffed out his chest. "A wish? Cool. I wish for an endless supply of video games that I never have to share." Mia pushed him aside. "No way. I wish all our vegetables would turn into chocolate cake forever." Little Sam, who was busy trying to put a sock on the cat, just babbled, I wish we were the grown-ups." Flicker's antennae twitched. She had been expecting a wish for toys or candy, but this was different. "You wish you were the grown-ups?" she asked, looking at Sam. Leo and Mia stopped bickering. They looked at each other, and a slow, mischievous grin spread across their faces. Being grown-ups meant no bedtime, eating ice cream for breakfast, and staying up all night. It was brilliant. "Yes," they shouted together. "We wish we were the grown-ups." Flicker sighed a glittery sigh. "A wish is a wish," she mumbled. She raised her tiny wand, a twig with a dewdrop on the end, and chanted, "Pillows and blankets, socks on the cat, turn this wish from this to that." A wave of sparkling dust washed over them. For a moment, everything felt tingly, like fizzy soda pop. When the tingling stopped, Leo looked at his hands. They were bigger. He looked at Mia, who was suddenly much taller. And Sam. Well, Sam was now wearing a suit and tie that were far too big for him and holding a briefcase. They ran to the mirror. It was true. Leo had a bit of a beard. Mia looked like a businesswoman, and Sam looked like a tiny, very serious CEO. And where were their parents? They looked over at the now tiny pillow fort, and peeking out were 2 small figures with wide, confused eyes. Their parents had become kids. "Whoa," Leo said, his voice now much deeper. "This is awesome." "Let's order 100 pizzas," Mia declared. "I need to make a very important phone call about business stuff," Sam announced, holding a toy phone to his ear. The first hour was pure chaos and pure fun. They ate cookies directly from the jar, jumped on the beds with their shoes on, and cranked up the music so loud the windows rattled. Their tiny parents just watched, looking bewildered. But then, things started to change. The doorbell rang. It was the mailman, with a stack of envelopes. "Bills," he said, handing them to a very confused Leo. "Electricity, water, the internet, grown-up stuff." Leo stared at the papers. They were covered in numbers and big, scary words like past due. Suddenly, being a grown-up didn't seem so simple. Then, Tiny Dad tugged on Mia's pants. "I'm hungry," he whined, "and I don't want pizza again. I want macaroni and cheese." Mia went to the kitchen. "How do you make macaroni and cheese?" She opened a box, and powder went everywhere. She tried to boil water, but the stove was confusing. It was all so much harder than it looked. Meanwhile, Sam was having his own problems. He had tried to do business on the computer, but he'd accidentally ordered 500 rubber chickens online. The confirmation email just popped up, and he didn't know how to cancel it. He started to wail. Business is too hard. The house was a mess. There were cookie crumbs everywhere. The loud music had given them all a headache, and their tiny parents were now having a full-blown tantrum because they were bored. "I want a story," Tiny Mom cried. "I want to go to the park," Tiny Dad demanded. Leo, Mia, and Sam looked at each other. Their faces were smudged with chocolate, their hair was a mess, and they were exhausted. Being a grown-up wasn't about endless fun. It was about responsibility, cooking, cleaning, paying bills, and taking care of little people who needed them. It was the hardest job in the world. Just then, the little shimmering light zipped back into the room. It was Flicker, and she was hovering near the ceiling, holding her sides and laughing tiny, bell-like laughs. "Having fun, grown-ups," she giggled. "No," they all yelled. "This is terrible. We were wrong." Leo looked at Flicker with desperate eyes. "Please, Flicker, can we unwish the wish? Being a kid is way better." "We promise we'll clean our rooms," Mia added, "and I'll only put socks on my own feet." Sam sniffled. Flicker smiled, a genuine warm smile this time. "I was hoping you'd say that," she said. "Learning a lesson is the most powerful magic of all." She raised her wand one more time. Rubber chickens, messy floors, let things be as they were before. Another wave of sparkly dust washed over the room. The tingly feeling returned, and when it faded, Leo looked at his hands. They were small again. He, Mia, and Sam were back to their normal kid sizes. And standing by the kitchen door were their normal-sized parents, looking just as they always had. The house was still a mess, but something had changed. The kids looked at the pile of toys, the cookie crumbs, and the giant pillow fort. Without a word, Leo started picking up the pillows. Mia grabbed a broom, and even little Sam started putting his blocks back in their box. Their parents watched, their jaws dropped in amazement. From that day on, Leo, Mia, and Sam weren't perfect. They still made messes, and they still sometimes forgot to put their toys away. But they never forgot their one afternoon as grown-ups. They helped out more, complained a little less about vegetables, and were a lot more grateful for their parents. And every now and then, when the sun hit a dust mote just right, they would see a tiny sparkle in the air and swear they could hear the faint sound of tinkling bells reminding them of the wish that changed everything. And they knew, deep down, that being a kid was the best job in the world. Thanks for watching our story today. If you had one wish from a fairy, what would you wish for? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing adventures. See you next time.